So for the cranial surfaces, we got the frontal bone, which is right here, the parietal bones, which is right here and right here, the temporal bones, which can easily be seen on the sides right here, and there's also one on the other side right here. And then you got the occipital bone, which is this back bottom part. Some of these articulating lines would be the coronal suture. The coronal suture is, I don't know if you can see the lines on here, would be this line over here, would be this line. The sagittal suture would be this line right here. The squamous suture would be this line over here. And then the lambdoidal suture would be kind of this Y shape, this bottom of this Y shape. Oh, some of the other parts of the cranial surface I forgot were the mastoid process. Mastoid process would be right back here, this area right here. And then the styloid process would be this little hanging part right here. Some of the foramens of the cranial skull are the supraorbital foramen. That would be up here, kind of this top medial part right here. Then you have the inferior orbital foramen, which would be these down here. You got this one right here. Got the external auditory meatus, which would be right here. Got the optical canal, which would it's kind of hard to see, but it'd be back here, and that would be kind of formed by the it's a little hard to see, but it would go through here. We got the stylomastoid foramen. Stylomastoid foramen would be right there, kind of near the mastoid process. Would be right in between there. Now we got some of the internal surfaces of the cranial skull. First we have the sphenoid bone, and that would be kind of this inner base part of the nasal area. Next we have the ethmoid bone, which would be ethmoid bone would be easier to look at it right here, kind of up here. This is the, get a better look, up here, this area. Next we got the superior orbital fissure. That would be kind of these grooves right here, as you can see above the orbitals. These grooves right here. And we got the inferior orbital fissures. And I know this one is going to be really hard to see, but they're kind of back here under the orbital area. Next we have the greater and lesser wings of the sphenoid bone. Okay, so this is the inner top part of the skull. The sphenoid bone is kind of this bone right here that makes kind of like a butterfly looking bone. And the greater part would be these what looks like wings up here. And then the lesser part would be these top, like, smaller looking wings. Next we got the foramen rotundum. And the foramen rotundum would be on this kind of this inner part of the greater wing. And we got the foramen ovula, and that would also be on this inner part. That would be in here. Next we got the foramen lacurum. The foramen lacurum would be located over here. That's another one of these little holes in here. And we got the foramen, and that's yet again another part of one of these clusters of little openings in here. Then we got the carotid canal, excuse me, and that would be back here. To the carotid canal we have the jugular foramen. The jugular foramen is also located in the back. the jugular foramen, we have the foramen magnum, and the foramen magnum would be this right here, this hole right here in the middle. And next we have the crista gallia, and the crista gallia is kind of this inner part of the ethmoidal bone. Next we have the crimbrifoid plate, and the crimbrifoid plate is kind of this whole plate up here on the inner part above the orbitals in the middle there. Next we have the sella triseca, and the sella triseca is kind of, again, we're looking right here on the inner part of that. It's kind of right here in the middle. There's this groove right there. That's where the pituitary gland will sit. And lastly, we have the internal auditory meatus. The internal auditory meatus would kind of be on, this is the external auditory meatus. So the inside would be kind of this right here. And that is all the bones of the skull.